It all started with misanthropy. I've never experienced trauma in my life, or maybe I just can't remember or feel it. But somehow, for reasons unknown and mysteries unsolved, everything began at the age of 15. It was like something dark started growing inside me, eating at me like a sickness, while simultaneously turning me into something new, something dark, something strange, a black comedy director. There's always a reason, right? You hate someone or hold on to strong feelings about people or things. But for me, as the dark comedy director, it was purely intuitive. There was no logic behind it, no rhyme or reason. It reminded me of Kafka's Metamorphosis. At that age, 15, it was as if I was transforming into something entirely unrecognizable. I say something because I wasn't sure what I'd become. I couldn't call myself human, or animal, or anything familiar. Let's cut through the nonsense and get to the real story. I hated people. Just hated them. The way they talked, the way they ate, the way they existed was disgusting to me. It's not even worth sugarcoating. So while I communicated with them, I built this inner world inside my mind, a space filled with obnoxious words, sharp criticism, and endless ridicule. Outside, I was just indifferent, this outgoing, polished shell. But inside, I was something else entirely, and now you're probably judging me, saying, "What a sick person, dark, outgoing, polite on the outside, but absolutely disgusting inside." Don't judge me. Don't even try. Trust me, you wouldn't understand. It's beyond your imagination. This isn't some ordinary textbook transformation from point A to point B. This is something else. I am something else. Just another piece in life's cruel metamorphosis. My advice? Don't create rigid frames to box the world in. Don't try to slap labels on everything to make sense of it. The world is bigger than your brain, and it's getting bigger every millisecond. You're standing in the smallest corner of the cosmic universe, pretending you know something. You can't even grasp the Earth completely, let alone the vast, infinite universe. So who are you to judge? Who are you to make sense of things? Even if you could know everything about the universe, you'd still be just another dummy, a speck, a useless fool like the other 9 billion people on this planet. Now listen, don't meddle in my writing, dude. Next time you try to interfere, I'll beat the crap out of you, promise that. I hated everyone, even my own parents. Whether there was a reason or not, I hated them. Sure, I know some of the reasons, but I'm not here to reveal them to you. I don't follow norms. Never have, never will. People used to think I wanted attention, that I craved it. They thought I was throwing tantrums just to be noticed. They were wrong. I didn't even count those people as human beings to begin with. Why would I care about earning their stupid attention? I didn't, and I still don't. They were insignificant to me then, and they remain insignificant now. But let me tell you something important, something worth remembering. If the entire world praises you, it doesn't make you right. It doesn't mean you found truth. And if the entire world hates you, it doesn't make you wrong either. That's the catch. Whether they praise you or condemn you doesn't matter one bit. None of it makes a difference. You think that what people say affects your truth. It doesn't. People's opinions are useless, good for business and market trends maybe. But when it comes to life, meaning or truth, they are utterly worthless. When you're looking for truth, you ignore the masses. They're blind. They're noise in the background. You focus on your own questions, your own path. It didn't take me long to realize that I had to find meaning for myself. There were so many questions in my head, questions that nobody could or wanted to answer. And the more I looked, the more I saw. Everything around me was wrong. The beliefs people clung to, the conventions they stubbornly followed, all of it was flawed, a joke. I won't get into the specifics of those beliefs because, honestly, they don't matter. Whether it was cultural traditions, religious rituals, or societal norms, it was all the same nonsense to me. And the worst part, people thought I cared. They said I wanted to be different for the sake of standing out. They thought I loved the attention, but let me make this clear, I didn't count those people as worthy of my care. They didn't matter enough to me to even hate them properly. They were below my notice, beneath me. You see, when people don't understand something, they make it easier for themselves. They create neat categories to organize their little worlds. It's what they've always done. The Greeks did it with their gods and myths, blaming thunder on some angry deity to feel like they understood the chaos. Humans create stories to fill the gaps. Conventions and traditions are nothing more than myths they repeat to themselves so they don't have to ask hard questions. But I wasn't interested in playing along with their myths or their conventions. I questioned everything, every single thing, and it started with one word: why? Why should I dress the way society tells me to? Why do people act like sheep, following the herd, never stopping to think? Why should I accept what is taught to me in school without question? Why should I even breathe the way they want me to? Every action, every situation, it came with a question. Why? 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 That question echoed in my head constantly. It annoyed people around me. It annoyed me sometimes, but it didn't stop. It couldn't stop. That's when I started becoming something else, an ontologist. If you don't know what that means, don't worry. I'll explain it in another story. For now, just know that it has everything to do with asking the right questions. By this time, darkness had completely taken over my soul. No, I'm not talking about some cheap melodramatic sadness. I'm talking about a darkness that consumes everything inside you, covers every corner of who you are, and turns your questions into an obsession. That's what happened to me. I wasn't happy, far from it. I was suffering. Suffering because nothing made sense. Suffering because I saw the world for what it was, a giant lie. People were stupid, blind creatures, living like machines on autopilot, doing what they were told without ever asking why. I wasn't like them. I couldn't be. That's when my journey began, my journey to what I now call becoming human. You probably think you're already a human, don't you? Let me tell you something. You're not. None of us are. Humanity is an illusion, a lie we've collectively told ourselves to feel superior to the wild animals running free in the forests. But we haven't even reached true humanity yet. We're still just tamed creatures pretending to be civilized. That's all. Let me break it down for you. There are levels to becoming a human. We're not born human. We're born wild creatures that need to evolve, grow, and climb the steps to real humanity. Here's how I see it. Wilderness. This is where we all start, wild and untamed, just like animals. Tamed. This is where most of us are now. We've been domesticated by society, taught how to behave, how to function within the rules. Awareness. Here's where things start to get real. You wake up and realize the lies. You see the traps of conventions and understand how broken society truly is. Internship. You start practicing the truths you've found, building yourself, failing, tasting truth but struggling to hold on to it. 5. Gloomy. This phase is when you're truly alone. It's not just solitude, it's the crushing realization that no one understands you. Living in a society full of problems, filled with mistakes and absurdities, becomes unbearable. You feel disconnected, like you don't belong anywhere. It's not about rejecting others. They've already rejected you, or maybe you've walked away because there's no common ground left. In this phase, doubt creeps in. Real doubt. You've lost friends, family, connections. You question everything, and most painfully, you question yourself. Am I doing the right thing? Is this worth it, or have I just isolated myself for nothing? You start to feel like Berenger in Ionesco's Rhinoceros, standing alone while everyone else transforms around you, becoming something monstrous, something unrecognizable, and yet somehow even then you can't join them. You're stuck between the weight of what's wrong with the world and the uncertainty of your own convictions. Human, this is the final phase, true humanity. Very few ever reach this level. Humans as we know them today aren't even halfway there. Right now, you're probably somewhere between the first two stages, wild or tamed. You think you're civilized because you wear a suit and follow rules. But that's not human. That's just a polished version of a wild animal, chained by societal norms. So, this is where my journey began. At 15, questioning, hating, suffering, searching, trying to climb out of the mess humanity has settled into, trying to become more than a tamed creature. But don't worry, this story isn't over. This is just the beginning. Wait for the coming episodes. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll start your own journey. Or maybe you'll stay exactly where you are. Your move. 1. The lie we've been sold about happiness. One and the only reason that people, throughout history, in the present and even in the future, will never be happy. Nothing seems to bring true happiness. Nothing is ever enough. Regardless of what you achieve, regardless of what you do, even if you feel happy for a moment, it doesn't last long. But there's one specific reason behind this universal dissatisfaction. And if you know this reason, if you truly understand it, you'll have the key to change everything. 2. Are we chasing happiness all wrong? Think of the pursuit of happiness. People go to unimaginable lengths to find it. Whether rich or poor, regardless of social status or income, the search for happiness unites us all. But I am not here to tell you to be happy with what you have or offer vague advice about spirituality. No, the secret to true happiness lies elsewhere. Imagine this common scenario. You have a craving for something to eat, but you can't pinpoint what you really want. When someone asks you, "What would you like?" you reply, "I don't know. Maybe something sweet or sour or just something." So you go to the supermarket. You wander the aisles, picking up chocolates, Toblerone, Godiva, a fizzy drink, maybe even pastries. You eat them one after the other. At some point, your stomach feels full, but you're still not satisfied. Something's missing. Then it hits you. None of these things were actually what you wanted. Your craving sits there unmet, while your regret grows. Why did I buy all of this? Why didn't it work? Does this sound familiar? Now think about choosing the perfect cheat meal while on a strict diet. You only allow yourself rare cheat meals, so when you do, you want them to be special, the best meal possible. You start by deciding what to eat. You may love a range of cuisines, Italian, American, Mexican, Indian, you name it. Let's say after some thought, you settle on a burger. But doubt creeps in. You wonder, am I sure I want a burger? Maybe something else would be better. You compromise with yourself saying, "Okay, I'll have a burger now and try something else next time." Then comes the next hassle, finding the best fast food restaurant. You search high and low for the perfect place, but even now, you're unsure which one to choose. Eventually, after all that deliberation, you end up eating a very ordinary burger from a random restaurant. Not only was the burger underwhelming, but now you feel regret. You cheated on your diet, consumed unnecessary carbs, and didn't even enjoy it the way you had imagined. This is exactly what happens in life when we chase things without clarity, when we think we know what we want, but ultimately end up feeling disappointed and unsatisfied. Now take this concept and apply it to life itself. 3. The silent routine that keeps you stuck. Zoom out and look at life as a whole. Think about your daily routine. You wake up, you eat breakfast, you work, you socialize, maybe at a bar or cafe. You talk on the phone, eat a meal, then you sleep, repeat. Sure, there might be some variety, a vacation here, a hobby there. But at its core, this same cycle applies to almost everyone, rich or poor, east or west, past or present. It's life painted in different colors, but ultimately the same. And at the end of the day, nobody is truly happy. We chase more money, more pleasure, more relationships. We live in this constant more. But let's not debate whether this is right or wrong, at least not in this video. Because even when we acquire the more, it only feels like drinking sweet water when we thirsty, or sour water when we need something else. It satisfies for a brief moment, only to leave us craving. You might disagree and say, life isn't just working, eating, and sleeping. We have love, we have fun. Sure, but even love, even fun, experiences that are supposed to transcend routine, fall into the same trap. We're still not happy. 4. The real reason you'll never feel fulfilled. If you're thinking, I know why we're not happy, it's because we want too much. Or, we should just be thankful for what we already have. You might be partly right. Gratitude and managing expectations can help, to some degree, but that's not the core reason. Here's the truth. We don't know what we actually want. Let me explain. Imagine going to that supermarket again. But this time, you know exactly what you're craving. You walk straight to the aisle, pick the item, buy just that, and leave. This time, you're truly satisfied. Or think about choosing a restaurant. Instead of wasting hours debating, you know the perfect place and the perfect dish you've been craving. And so, when you eat, you're not just full, you're happy. Now look at your life. What if you applied this clarity to everything? Do you know if you really want to get married or stay single? Do you really want children? Or is it just what society expects of you? Do you know why you chose your career, why you bought your house, why you're living the way you are? The simple, brutal truth is this: we don't know what we want from life. We stumble through decisions, uncertain of what we're truly searching for. And that brings us back to the key issue. Human unhappiness stems not from what we lack, but from not knowing what we should want. 5. The questions no one dares to ask. The more we think about what we want, the more questions arise. Who am I? Why am I here? What do I truly need in life? These are not questions with easy answers. And because we're consumed by daily routines, working, earning, consuming, we never even take the time to confront them deeply. Humans are lost, confused, and unhappy because we're following not the proper path. We're chasing irrelevant goals, blind to what's truly meaningful. 6. What the greatest thinkers got wrong. Now you may wonder if what we're discussing touches on existentialism. And well, it might. But not for now. Existentialism is a topic I'll explore fully in a later video. For now, let's focus on this idea. We don't know what we want. We don't truly know who we are or what we need to do. Throughout history, novelists, directors, thinkers, and philosophers have been asking the same questions. They've tried to find the answers. Who are we? What do we truly want in life? What is the meaning of existence? But here's the thing. Many of these attempts to answer these questions have failed, and the reason for this failure boils down to one core issue. Human knowledge is limited. As Friedrich Nietzsche said, there are many kinds of eyes. Even the Sphinx has eyes, and consequently there are many kinds of truths, and consequently there is no truth. At this point in human history, we lack the knowledge to access or grasp the ultimate truth. As long as we don't know this truth, we will continue to struggle. However, I strongly believe that such truth exists, just not in a form we are yet prepared to understand. For now, with human knowledge and tools still primitive, we must accept something uncomfortable. There may currently be no universal truth. Accepting this, at least temporarily, might help us avoid problems like endless conflicts, squabbles, and wars. Ideas from philosophers who tackled this question. But let's revisit the great thinkers of history. Even if their ideas don't give us the ultimate answers, they offer us valuable clues. I want to briefly introduce you to 3 philosophers who explored similar ideas and wrestled with this question of human desire, authenticity, and meaning. 1. Søren Kierkegaard, 1813 to 1855. Kierkegaard believes despair emerges from not knowing our true selves. Kierkegaard was deeply concerned with the fact that humans don't truly know who they are or what they want. This failure to connect with our authentic purpose leads to intense despair, which he called the despair of the self. His philosophy pushed individuals to confront these truths about themselves. Key ideas from Søren Kierkegaard: despair of the self. Human despair arises from failing to connect with one's true self. Authenticity. Happiness comes from making choices that align with your inner truths. Critique of external pleasures. External societal expectations often prevent genuine self-discovery. Existential responsibility. To overcome despair, individuals must actively define their purpose and live authentically. Faith and the leap. True fulfillment requires embracing a leap of faith, trusting in something greater beyond pure rationality. 2. Friedrich Nietzsche, 1844 to 1900. Nietzsche addresses how conformity and aimlessness lead to unhappiness. Nietzsche argued that human unhappiness is rooted in aimlessness and blind conformity to societal or religious norms. He challenged the imposition of externally inherited morals and urged people to define their own values and purposes. Key ideas from Friedrich Nietzsche: nihilism, religious and traditional values fail to provide meaning, leading to the death of God and a crisis of purpose. Will to power. True fulfillment comes from creating your own values and striving to achieve your potential. Critique of societal conditioning. Society suppresses individuality with external morals. Self-overcoming. Humans must reject inherited values and instead pursue their authentic desires. The Übermensch, Overman, a higher form of humanity that transcends conventional morality and creates meaning through individuality and power. 3. Jean-Paul Sartre, 1905-1980. Sartre focuses on freedom and the challenges it brings. Jean-Paul Sartre emphasized that humans are condemned to be free. Unlike other animals, humans have the unique responsibility of creating meaning in their lives through their choices. However, this overwhelming freedom can lead to existential anguish, paralysis caused by the difficulty of determining what we truly want. Key ideas from Jean-Paul Sartre: existential freedom. Humans are fundamentally free to give life their own meaning and purpose. Condemned to be free. Freedom carries the burden of responsibility. Existential anguish. Freedom often causes anxiety because people grapple with the overwhelming choices of life. Self-definition. Unlike animals, humans must actively create their essence through authentic decisions. Responsibility. With freedom comes the requirement to take full accountability for one's life and actions. A continuing exploration. There are many more philosophers, writers, and thinkers who've approached these questions. This is just a small foundational introduction to those who've tackled the problem of human desire, existential meaning, and authenticity. While some of their ideas may not be evergreen, meaning they may evolve or be invalidated by future discoveries, they still hold significant value today. And as I said earlier, we may not yet have access to all the tools or knowledge needed to fully understand the truth. But for now, these thoughts offer us guidance, hints, and a framework to reflect on our own lives. 7. There's only one way forward. What do you think? Do you believe we need to follow societal norms and stay busy with daily routines? Should we break free to create our own unique philosophy? Or should we take a step back and redefine what it even means to want something? Share your thoughts in the comments below. In future videos, we'll explore these questions further and dive deeper into the ideas of these philosophers and many others. Whether it's Kierkegaard's despair, Nietzsche's Overman, or Sartre's freedom, they've all left us with profound challenges to consider. If you're eager to learn more about these ideas, or have your own perspectives to share, leave a comment. This journey has just begun. Stay tuned.